Yo YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy SalvationsElite, and we are back with another video, guys. And man, good to be back on the channel for another Learn from the Pros, which is going down today, as you guys can see on Seaside. Like I was talking about in the last video, we're doing like the Seaside Mania for this week, talking about it and learning the maps. In this video, we're doing the OpTic versus EU Grand Final Hardpoint, which was an insane match. OpTic with a huge comeback. Spoiler, I know, I'm sorry, but the match was actually insane. So much fun to watch, like one of the most fun matches to watch in a long time for Call of Duty, with it being OpTic Gaming, with how much OpTic means for competitive Call of Duty and how much influence they have in competitive COD against EU, Clayster, JCap. The storylines were awesome, and for a first event of the year, and for that to be the grand final, was basically perfect for the final, and it made for such an awesome map like this that we can review and talk about. So really, I mean, this is basically Call of Duty map review. Yeah, I got him. Mr. PewDiePie, please don't copy strike me. But before we get in the video, again, I just want to mention the community tournament. The next video that's coming out on the channel, which will be either tomorrow or the following day, will be the community tournament's final guidelines. So everything we need to know about the community tournament: game types, rule sets, team size, entry, like legitimately everything that has to do with the community tournament. That's what the video is going to be about. So I'm excited to release that one, see what you guys have to say about it, and hopefully get this thing rolling and have an awesome tournament. So with that said, let's finally hop in to Seaside. So if you guys are new to Learn from the Pros, basically we hop through different pros matches, and we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we learn from the pros. I'm sure you couldn't have pieced that one together, but you know, we just go through different situations of what these guys went through in the game, talk about them, and hopefully learn something about how to play competitive Call of Duty. So this was the first event of the year, so there's going to be a lot of things that change and differ as the year progresses and as gameplay progresses. That's why I wanted to do Hardpoint first. Hardpoint's all about the fundamentals, and it doesn't change as much game to game. Like Search and Destroy, or especially Control, this year will. And so that's why we're talking about Hardpoint first. First of all, I want to touch on the importance of stuns and trophy systems, because we didn't have trophy systems in World War II. So we got to go back and remember how to use them this year. And that's what we can notice really at the beginning of this match specifically, is OpTic and Eunited. EU dominates OpTic with the stuns and with the trophy systems. And that's like the first thing right off the bat that I noticed, is how good EU was with those concussions and trophies. And they had them in the right places, used them in the right situations, and it gave them a huge advantage at the beginning of this game, which was a big reason for why EU was able to take such a big lead and, you know, really caught OpTic off guard at the beginning, because OpTic wasn't getting those trophies down. So pay attention with that just throughout the match as we talk about it, and just, you know, notice how important some of these stuns and trophies are and how the pros use them and what situations they use them. Yes, you're not crazy. I did just close the window in here so that, you know, the lighting is a little bit better. But anyway, let's just jump right to Hill 2, where EU is actually dominating this courtyard hill, even though they don't have the better spawns for this hill. And what's interesting is that they actually end up rotating really early to get a nice setup on that third hill, which is in Fountain. So let's just watch this together, see how EU rotates a little bit early and then sets up on the next hill to give him a good opportunity to have a big money hill over at Fountain.
At least for the moment. Bit of a hectic gunfight there up close and personal with the SOG, but ultimately he will end up dropping. But this is great from United. It's, once again, we've seen them do this in a couple of hard points where they don't necessarily have your favorable side, but can get in and contest, get in and find some time.
You can see the movement of all those blue arrows. There we go. Thank you, Paradox. Shout out to you. Great observing all event long. But those blue arrows starting to back up towards that statue. Side Karma trying to work this low side cafe.
And that's great. You know, Eunited didn't have to, you know, hold the back, then push through halfway through the hard point and get set up. They did a great job from the front, and now they can get set up. At a hard point, we know you can.
So you can see how important this is with this rotation, and this happens throughout any pro match, or all these guys who do it. They have to send somebody way at the back of the map on Seaside, because otherwise there's some really funky spawns back there where the opposing team could potentially spawn back there if they have enough guys rotating on that side of the map. So it's really important to get somebody way at the back of the map here to anchor that side and defend that flank. So with how they rotated through Winery back into spawn, they knew that the only spot the OpTic could actually be coming from would be from restaurant side or on top of roof on that left side of the map. And so that's where they were watching that, and they did a good job rotating and locking down this hill at the beginning here to get a good rotation. And now it's up to them to actually hold this hill, but OpTic was doing a really good job of putting pressure on the back there, and that's what we're going to talk about now. First of all, let's watch Karma's nice little bait and trade here with TJ on the staircase. For you veterans out there, you guys have been doing this for a long time, but for the newer players, you know, this is called baiting and trading. and you bait out the opposing player. So you peek out, force that player to shoot you, you shoot him a little bit, you tag him up, you get him weak, and then you let your teammate clean it up. So let's watch that as Karma baits and lets TJ tag him up a little bit and then ends up getting the kill. So let's just watch this real quick and pay attention to how OpTic is trying to pressure the back of that spawn, but EU does an awesome job of continually trying to bait it out, trying to play that time, playing for the respawns, and they continue to win the hill even though OpTic puts on a lot of really good pressure.
They did a great job from the front, and now they can get set up. At a hard point, we know you can rack up a ton of time if you're patient, if you have the proper hold, and so far the opening kill is going to Eunited, but now Karma and company trying to get the break on in. No luck as of now as they're trying to funnel through those bottom steps, and Vision is there.
Yeah, Clay able to pick up a lightning strike right now, just trying to stay alive. 45 points off that Hellstorm.
How many streaks has he?
I don't know, man. The guy is a streak machine right now, but TJ's gonna punch him in the face. Arcity's still controlling the back. A very solid start for United, but that's what you expect, right? They just come off a Game 5 win. Their adrenaline's still pumping. Guys like Scump and Dashy. Look at Dashy. His first final, a very slow start at 1-8, but you know he can flip the switch at any moment.
Remember, United don't have a...
So we're skipping forward a little bit again to the Winery Hill, and this Winery Hill is always just a cluster. It's all about trades and baits and the team's ability to use stuns to their advantage. This is an awesome play here from OpTic where only Crim and Dashy are left at the Winery Hill. And basically the whole EU team is in the Winery Hill with only Crim and Dashy outside of it. And they're actually able to play it together and sweep them up and end up getting the last like 15 to 20 seconds or so. And it allowed OpTic to actually rotate and get the next hill because of Crim and Dashy's ability to trade and weaken each other's kills and bait those trades. So let's watch that together and we can talk about it real quick after.
They haven't really been able to get that big gap, right? OpTic has, they floated around. I think that's big for OpTic, considering you're coming into this maybe a little bit more cold. Just float around, you get a kill like that from Crim as him and Dashy combined for 4, and as they heat up, you feel better about them over the course of this game. Crim can do no wrong, man.
Yeah, 4 in a row. You think that last series against...
He ends up trading 3 kills in that sequence, plus assisting on Dashy's kill, while, getting 1 full kill. And again, he gets the cost that they're weak, so he pushes those weak players, gets the early kills, then gets the assist with Dashy. Then Dashy calls out that Arcity's is weak, and Crim slides in to trade that kill and wins that extra time on the hill. And so again, those are the types of plays that in Winery are so important, and that's the difference in that hill between a 20-second hold and a 40-second hold, something like that. And so as a team, you have to work on that together and getting used and comfortable with trading and calling out and communicating those things. And then it has to become a natural instinct for you to know when to push those weak players and know when not to. And that just takes a lot of time and practice to do. So we're skipping forward again a little bit here to win OpTic's down by like 80 or so points. The game's looking a little bit dire for OpTic, and they need a big hold here on the Fountain Hill. And you guys can see again, their setup on this Fountain Hill is again with somebody way at the back, where Karma goes way to the back of the spawn and holds that down while they cover their lanes. And that's, again, something you're going to have to see a lot of and just get used to doing in this map.
Some point during this, OpTic Gaming is going to make a run. Just when's it going to come? And when it does come, can Eunited withstand it?
There's just way too many streaks right now, right?
Is that going to be what closes it out?
I'm thinking this is a great rotation for OpTic, but the reason they gave up that rotation was because they had the streaks, but actually, they don't get anything with the Hellstorm. Karma able to stay alive. JCap versus Karma goes the way of Karma, but the pressure's still here from United. Maybe they invest in another one. This is a very big hill.
So we're moving forward just a little bit here, and Karma has an interesting decision to make. So 3 of his teammates go down to a Hellstorm. So he could push into the hill and play with Dashy. So at the end of the day, what happens is that Karma actually ends up waiting for his teammates' spawns to come in before he actually pushes into the hill, which was really smart on his part because it ensured that they were able to spawn in and get that good spawn at the back of the map without spawning out. A lot of amateur players in this situation wouldn't even consider that to be an option. They would just run into the hill. To get that extra time, but it actually is a legitimate risk. All it takes for them to lose spawns is one lingering EU player on the roof somewhere over there, and then they would lose the spawns and be in big trouble for this hill. And so Karma does the awesome job of sitting back, ensuring those spawns, and then pushing into the hill, which is really good patience from him. Let's just watch this one real quick.
They still have that back spawn, but they need to get some time. The flank comes in. That's going to be Dashy making the play. But as that Hellstorm comes in, 3 get cleared out, so that's going to be no time in the hard point for OpTic. So So despite the fact they've held the spawns, they haven't got a...
So as you guys can see, it was just really good play from Karma. It allowed OpTic to get a good hold on this hill. Even though they didn't get all the time they wanted, they got a pretty good hold, and they wouldn't have been able to do it potentially if Karma would have pushed too far forward. So really smart plays there and good stuff from OpTic. So at the beginning of this game, EU was dominating, went up by like 100 points or whatever, and then at the end of the game, OpTic flipped the script and started dominating Eunited and makes this unbelievable comeback. And so what's really interesting is how OpTic, their communication and mental processing must have just been absolutely ignited. Because again, this is an awesome situation here in the Courtyard Hill where OpTic's able to communicate the potential issues and the spawns, and they take care of those issues and then have a really, really important, huge hold on this Courtyard Hill to give them a chance to win the game. So before we watch it, what's important to note is that Karma will spawn really far out. He spawns back behind Fountain, up on the top of the ramp, on the left side of the map. Their whole team was in the hill. He must have immediately called out, and that ensured that they knew somebody was in Winery, and they knew that EU is probably going to be spawning restaurant or spawning in the back right side of the map. Watch how Crim and Dashy immediately push into Winery to get that kill sorted out, which will give them significantly better spawn. So once they kill this guy, they know that that will give them better spawn. So I'm sure they communicated that and pushed together to make sure that they got that one figured out so they could go defend the other side of the hill. So let's watch it real quick and then we can talk about it.
The comeback is here. The comeback is here. They have a ways to go, but slowly but surely they're bringing it back.
Yeah, so looking at Specialist, Karma has Grab Slam available. What a comeback this would be. Way to set the tone for the grand finals. Up easy though, able to find a couple of kills. Now Karma gonna try to rotate on back. He has to invest this right now.
So as you guys see, once they cleared out Winery, that freed them up to be able to defend that other side of the hill, defend Church, defend the gate, and that was what allowed them to hold this hill for so long and give them a chance to win the game. So for the last clip here, watch how OpTic's able to set up here, and they set up so that they know if EU tries to rotate early, then they'll be able to get the call out and rotate with them. And so, you know, in this situation, OpTic can only allow 12 points. They can only give up 11 points to still have a chance to win the game. And so they have to be able to time their rotations perfectly where they have enough time to rotate, but they also have to be able to hold the hill and not allow EU to get the 12 points they need to rotate. And so Crim ends up going mid here, which a lot of the times on this hill isn't what you would do. You wouldn't normally just sit mid, but Crim, the veteran that he is, knows that this rotation is so important. And so he's sitting here to make sure that EU can't just sneak up the middle of the map and get an amazing rotation without OpTic knowing it. And then finally they call out rotate, and they get that rotation to win the game on the Fountain Hill. So let's watch that real quick and just pay attention to their positioning and then their rotation together.
They're doing it. They're doing exactly what we saw United do that first time through. They held it from this side of the map, and that makes the rotation to third so much easier. You just have to back it out and get set up. You're in panic mode right now if you're United. You felt like you had this game closed out. You've had streaks throughout. You've gotten great use out of your specialists, but now everything crumbling before your eyes, and you see the number 9s and 10 on the minimap. That's Dashy and TJ, the youngsters getting set up, but with 7 seconds left, they're gonna get that. Well, actually, it looks like Crim went in to try and contest and make a play for a second. How close are they going to be? 244.
So the other thing to note there is Crim's veteran play to try to pop in the hill and contest that time. So even though they already had guaranteed that they would still have a chance to win on the next hill, so there was only like about 10 seconds left, so EU wouldn't have been able to win on that Courtyard Hill. But what Crim knows is that if he gets killed, he'll actually spawn up back at Fountain, which will allow him to get back to the hill even faster. So he actually pushes in. So worst case scenario, he gets killed and he spawns back at Fountain, which allows him to help defend the hill with his team. Best case scenario, he's able to get the kill and he gets like 10 seconds of time. It's literally a win-win for Crim there. And I think what a lot of veterans and especially amateurs kind of just don't even think about is, why would I contest that when I can just try to run back to the hill and get those picks or try to help my team? But you can actually help your team by dying in this situation and trying to contest the hill for even just a few seconds. So as we all know, OpTic ends up winning this map with an awesome hold here on the Fountain Hill. Crazy stuff in the grand finals, and congrats to OpTic on winning the event and all. But EU put up an insane fight in this game. This must have been really demoralizing for him and pretty exhilarating for OpTic to make a comeback like that. EU had so many opportunities where they could have won this game, and they just did not make the right pushes at the end of the game together as a team. OpTic finally got their trophies and their concussions figured out by the end of the game, and that was a big difference at the beginning as well. So Regardless, guys, hope you guys learned something new in this Seaside's video. If you guys did, like, comment, and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. I love all the support. I really do appreciate all the support. And I say this all the time, but I want to do this long term, and I cannot do that without you guys. So I really appreciate all the support and the shares and the comments and everything else. So with that said, guys, as always, I'm your boy SalvationsElite, and we will see you next time. I'm out. And you can probably use that to your advantage potentially to break a hill if you are able to get a nice little split spawn. And then probably the weirdest spawn for this hill was the spawns way at the back of the fountain hill, the third hill, the ones that were way back in, the one that is way in the back of the spawn there.